So our topic tonight is light pollution. It's not just bothering the turtles anymore. And if Dana will change the slide to the correct slide, that would be great. We've already passed that point. Oh, okay. Never mind. Just stop right there. Don't worry about it. It was in the wrong order. All right. So tonight we'll be having a discussion on what light pollution is, the types of light pollution, consequences of light pollution, and what we can do to help alleviate it. Our speaker tonight is RAC's AV Director and NASA JPL Solar System Ambassador and soon-to-be Secretary, Dana Bostic. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's get a round of applause for Dana. All right. Dana has been interested in space since a very young age and read the S as in space encyclopedia. Yes, that old, so much that the pages were worn. He built several rockets while in school and loved watching the space shuttle launches on TV. He spent many nights in eastern North Carolina with a planisphere, lying on the ground finding constellations. While in college, he took several formal astronomy classes with weekly outings for observing. He was involved with local observing, sharing with his kids, and even taking them on a tour of Lowell Observatory on a family trip out west. Dana took his wife to see the solar eclipse in 2017, where about 25 people gathered around his telescope while he discussed what was happening. This trip could not have gone better and cemented his love of astronomy, pushing him to get further involved with the local club and become a NASA JPL Solar System Ambassador and the future secretary as well. Dana really enjoys outreach to the community, sharing the night sky with a laser pointer in one hand and with the other working a telescope, discussing what they see, making sure there's always a bad dad joke in there somewhere.
Okay. So I actually wanted to start at the other slide. Sorry, guys. I won't, but I appreciate you telling me. Okay. Check boxes and that. Are we good? Somebody online say you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yay! And you can see me. Okay, guys. So one of the things that I want to say before I get started on light pollution is if you have an opportunity to travel a little bit and you go to other places, call ahead and see if they have any kind of astronomy clubs. This is like one of the coolest I've seen. I've been traveling a lot with work lately. They're not even using this. This is an old farmer over here, and he built it out of a grain silo. This is actually an observatory. They got a 14-inch SCT up in there. It's really, really neat. This is the bottom of it. It's called Sunrise, but that's in Medicine Hat. One of the other things that was cool about going when you do stuff like this is you share your experiences. They cracked up. I walked outside and they asked me what or something was, and I was like, it's right there. You got to keep going up because I was so far north. This is actually in Alberta, Canada. And so it was a long way up. The nighttime takes an hour and a half for the sun to set where I was because the sun's coming in at such an angle. Anyway, second thing I'll say is when you go some places, sometimes you see really old people that you know from home. You online, Doug? And Doug took me on this magnificent tour of Glacier National Park. This is my kid, and he actually helped, and Doug let us work with him on 2 astronomy events at night and 1 during the day solar observing. If you ever get the chance, guys, do it. Call ahead, find out what they got. Okay, light pollution. Anna said don't wait till the end. I'm not disagreeing with her. I'm just saying if you have a question, go ahead and interrupt me. I don't mind, and we'll hand you a mic because I'd like to handle it at the time. Okay, So, definition. What's light pollution, guys? The inappropriate and excessive use of light. That's the shortest one. I'm not going to sit here and drain all these slides for you. Okay. We're just kind of going to go through and what is light pollution? What are the consequences of light pollution? What can we do about it? Okay. I'm hoping you guys will sit here and read this, but I'm not going to sit here and drain every single slide. Okay. Dark sky. This is your number one source. No, Frank. That's a surprise for later. Okay. So, oh, sorry, Frank, you blew my mind. Okay. So, most of the time you guys all know what, a lot of you anyway, know what light pollution is. It's the on exterior of buildings, and we get it a lot in offices and factories and big sporting events. However, we also get it in other locations. Light pollution, sometimes called photo pollution or luminescent pollution. I like this guy's definitions a lot. Hello, Mike. The awesomeness. Okay, so I liked some of these guys, some of his definitions a lot. This guy's a civil engineer. These are not misspellings. I copied them directly out of what he had written. There's also the light pollution. Obviously, we know that it's the luminescent and photo pollution, but it's caused, I want to read this one. The scattering result is an orange foggy glow that spread out over the horizon. It blights the night sky, a precious natural resource in an area of scientific. I just like this use of the word blight. Okay. Whoops. Shouldn't have drunk so much. Anyway, it's a consequence of poor engineering is usually what we have going on. That's generally where light pollution is coming from. Okay, how bad is it around here? This is the suggested way that Cary should look if you didn't have any light pollution whatsoever. This is stellarium simulation. This is about what we see. Look about right there. Ford parking lot in Cary. Isn't it Ford? Into the, okay, sorry. Okay, so we're going to go through what the general, what the types of light pollution are. I'll be real quick with these. I'm trying to get us through quick. We got glare, we got sky glow, we got light trespass, which, where are you at? We were talking about earlier tonight. We got overlighting. And generally you have some type of a combination of both of these or several of these at one time. Okay. Glare.
All right.
Question? Okay.
Please.
Excessive brightness that causes visual discomfort when more than necessary illumination is used. We all know what this is. I want to see the sumo wrestler. I do not want to see your light. That's probably not a flash either. That's probably a light on the thing, on the screen. What can it cause? Eye irritation, temporarily blind drivers. This one's my big one right here. Okay. It can confuse you when you first see it. You'll see people get startled when they see that. Okay. The big one is glare. You can come around a corner and get light in your face. It'll generate confusion. This is my big one. This is why I started getting involved in discussing light pollution to start with. Okay. Number one hatred. I actually took this picture in Illinois. The worst kind of bulb imaginable. This is as bad about it as it gets, except for the round globes, right? So, can any of you see the woman in this picture? I was on the 5th floor and saw her walk out to her car, and she disappeared. I know you can't see her, but she's right in there. Okay. I hate those big globes. All right.
You see the stars so pretty about it.
Those were bugs. Oops, sorry. Those are bugs. These are all bugs. Okay. So go back to this. Took me the first time I saw it several seconds. That's a motorcycle. I didn't see it. I just saw lights. So is it just me getting old? Well, that's happening. Okay. It's not just me getting old. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, even 20 years ago, was hearing about this. They got the numbers down here. Yeah, the younger guys complain about it in the vehicles behind them, but it's not just that. This is the #1 complaint that they're getting. So it's not just us. Okay. This is Sky Globe, and that was clear. This is Sky Globe, orange glow. Everybody knows this one. I go out to Howell Woods now, and what used to, even the little bit that I've been doing this over 5-10 years or so, Howell Woods has gotten worse and worse and worse. I can see Goldsboro better and better when I'm out there. Basically, it's just the luminescence of the night sky coming from the moon, stars. I don't think that one creates that much. The bigger one for me is what did I write? Sorry. Okay, these are mostly over light sources. The orange glow can be seen at night over populated areas. It's when the light's reflecting upward. I have an example. That's what I was going to say. When I was in Canada, this is the same shot. I didn't take this, but when I was in Canada, you could actually look straight at the sunshine from all of the glow, from all of the smoke that was in the air. Now that's a little different, but you got the same kind of idea when there's smoke and dirt and everything in the air. Anyway, this is from Sky. This is Tony Flanders over at Sky and Telescope published this picture. Same settings on the camera, 2 different locations, dark, light. Go.
One of the things also that is, especially here in the Atlantic. Sorry, I think one of the big issues we face here in the South or the Mid-Atlantic is just the humidity and particulates in the air that just makes it so much worse.
So what causes the sky glow? Okay. Where's Chris? Oh, no, not that Chris. So you have 2 types of sky glow, 2 causes of it. You have the nitrogen and the oxygen called Rayleigh, not Raleigh, scattering. Okay, this is the short wavelengths of light dealing with that, makes it appear blue, the sky blue during the daytime. So you can tell your kids or your grandkids or whatever, here's why the sky is blue. It's for that. That's one type of sky glow. The other type of sky glow is from aerosols or solid particles in the air, which is what I was talking about with Canada a while ago. There's so much smoke in the air and the humidity that you're talking about. They don't really work. The difference being that the Rayleigh scattering is certain wavelengths, whereas the aerosols that are in the air, it's just all of them. It'll make it more white. I liked this definition. So basically saying light sources rich in shorter blue and green wavelengths produce dramatically greater sky glow than little blue and green. We all know that, right? I mean, we all know that. Okay. So sky glow, Europe, 97. This is 20 years apart. 50s, 70s, 90s, 2025 estimation. It's looking a little worse over time to me. So, okay. Those are satellite images. That's just that's hard to watch, hard to see for the astronomers in the group. Okay. So it's estimated 80% of people on the earth are living under sky glow. 20% are all the ones in the dark. Worse than that, 99% of Europe and the US are under light polluted skies, which includes us. Here's your light. Oh, he's gone to the bathroom. Light trespass. Outside the area that you're trying to hit. Okay. That's basically the short version of it. Light trespass, sometimes called light harassment. The light's not where you want it. Okay. What causes it? Porch lights, floodlights, sporting events, decorative lighting, apex areas, selling cars, all that kind of stuff. Laser shows. I don't have that much in my neighborhood in Garner, but you know, I don't think I've seen trespass with motion sensors. And so I think what they mean by that is the motion sensor picks up in an area and turns the light on for an area that's not yours, just to be clear.
Any kind of wildlife.
And it blinds in your area. How's that doing with your pictures? I'm sure. Okay. I hope you guys aren't trying to sleep in any of these windows up here. Okay. This is another one that I liked. I saw this one, but for a different reason. You come around a corner and you find a house. Come around a corner and the light's in your face like that, you'd almost wreck your car from that light. I realize that there's a fence down there, and but you come around the corner for that, and you would almost not see it. You good, Frank? I'm trying to hurry.
You mentioned sports facilities. Some of them have changed their ballpark lights over to LEDs. Just look at the High Point Rockers Stadium, right in almost near downtown High Point. They've got LEDs that are completely flat, and they're designed to put their glare only on the field. Even in the stands, you don't see any glare. It's quite amazing. And no light upwards.
I agree. I agree. Those people who just bought an RV are just mean people. I got to show you the picture of mine. I just bought. I was just joking because I just bought one like a week ago. That's the joke. Okay. Next type of light pollution, overlighting. Call it what you want. Over illumination, clutter, waste of excessive light. What comes to mind for everybody? What city comes to mind when you think of overlighting, over illumination? Okay, well, I was thinking Las Vegas with who was in the back, but yes. So it's particularly bad on roads with a whole bunch of lights on the road. They get real distracting and stuff. Once again, Dana's big one with the accidents. Okay, Mike, I got you covered, and I got Las Vegas covered. See, I knew ahead of time. There you go. That's a great example of it. I've driven in Vegas at night. You can't see anything. So, what does Las Vegas look like from space? It looks like a hole in the earth. This is since everything in my life has been around Canada lately, this is actually a guy that was a astronaut on the space station. He's one of the first astronauts on the International Space Station from Canada. He took that picture and said his camera was having trouble taking the picture. It was so bright, even at the ISS. Okay.
I did. You observe it right there.
Okay. We got light pollutions. What's the consequences of light pollution? Pollution, singular. Okay. We know these. Waste of energy, air pollution. We're going to go through them. Wait, before I do that, I want to be clear. I'm showing silly videos, but I'm very serious about light pollution. Okay, guys, even though the video is silly, it's also a good video to get the point across.
Gotcha. Hi, I'm the Dark Ranger. Did you see me hiding there? Probably not, because this is a bad design for lighting. What we have here are hard shadows. They're created by the fact that this light post was placed right in the middle of two trees. Now, it's not a very good situation for safety because the bad guys know the human eye can't penetrate the hard shadows. So that's where you hide and set up an ambush. And of course, the best thing is the psychology. Next to a light, people think they're safe, so they're gonna have their guard down. It's a dangerous situation. It's also not very good for the trees themselves, because in fact, trees use the number of hours of continuous darkness to tell them what season of the year it is. You can kind of think of like darkness being a calendar for trees. And I would guess that these trees probably blossom a little bit too early in the spring. Maybe they have to deal with a hard cold snap, and they probably hang onto their leaves a little bit too late in the fall, all compromising the health of the tree, reducing its ability to grow, things like that. Now, of course, on a university campus like we are here at the University of Utah, the health of the trees is not going to be our first concern. It's mostly going to be about public safety. But this is a classic example of where it's not the amount of light or even the amount of watts, a fairly powerful fixture you see there, but it's about making smart lighting. Smart lighting outsmarts the bad guys and makes your neighborhoods or campuses a safer place to be.
Designed to shine only down and not up. It looks like an LED with a array right at the very top of the fixture.
So I'm going to move on to wasting energy. So look at some of these numbers. 3 billion. Now this was in 2011. Like you see the next estimate. You got your sky glow. You got $3 billion wasted. 600 million trees to offset the amount of carbon that takes. This is up to 3.3 billion, 875 million trees needed, causing air pollution. Sink that one in for a minute. Okay. You also create light pollution. Air pollution from light pollution. I'm sorry. So we need to reduce our light pollution to reduce the air pollution. They go hand in hand. This is a big NOAA study from 2010 where they were showing that. Human health, you guys have heard me. Accidents, accidents, accidents. This is about your melatonin, in case you guys wondered how that worked. It suppresses your production of melatonin if you're in the light. Your production starts at nighttime and at like 1 or 2 in the morning, depending on what time you go to bed, but about 1 to 2, it shuts off. Melatonin is referred to as the expression of darkness. Lowers cholesterol, protects body, cardiovascular system, stabilizes biological rhythm, restores night cycle. Everybody thinks they've got fatigue all the time, right? We all feel tired. I wonder if sometimes it's that. At my house, it's because cat steps on me, but cat pollution. Yeah. So artificial light. Come on. Okay. All right. So we all came for the sea turtles, right? Because I said it's not just for the sea turtles anymore. So we are going to send in the turtles. Watch the beach lights. Yay, save the turtles. What are the other consequences that we have with animals and other living things, non-human? There's so many of them. Nocturnal animals. This guy's a big leader in the study of light pollution on animals. He believes that it's one of the most drastic changes that we've made to our environment. You always got a problem when you interrupt the reproduction of frogs and toads. So we're doing that. What else are we doing? There's just this huge list. I can just go on and on and on and what okay. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. The birds are affected and and we can prevent all this. You could prevent seeing that. Last and not least, as the astronomy club, what do we think? Yay. Right? Okay. You guys have seen this, but I want to do the glare presentation for everybody. If you haven't seen it, I think it's very, very powerful. Devine has offered to cover up screen for me. And yeah, I've got to close the door. Can you guys kill the lights? Now, before we get too started, no, you're good. Thank you for doing that. I want you guys to know that scientists have recently discovered a brand new globular cluster, and it's called J. Presley 1950. Nobody think that's funny? That was hysterical to me. At my house, that was hilarious. Jim Presley's in the back of the building, back of the room, for those of you that don't know it. But this is a globular cluster which you will not be able to see once I start blinding you. And I can't see anything. Okay? I'm about to trip on things. You can't see the globular cluster because I got light in your face. Okay? So we put more lights out. Why do we put more lights out? Because we want to be safe, right? We want to keep our kids safe, right? You guys are not giving me feedback. Okay, I'm going to keep talking until you give me feedback. Okay, so we're riding around, we're putting light poles up, driving around in our cars, right? Lights are telling us where they are. They're telling us where the criminals are, right? Here's the problem. They're not. Okay, I can barely see that there's a chair there. I can see Frank taking my picture in the dark. I don't know what you're going to do. But you can't see anything. I can see this young lady here. I can see the shiny head over here. I can see all these things going on. Here's the problem. What I need to be looking at is under it. You guys see Harry Potter? See him now? We got to turn this light off, guys, and we got to get people to know the knowledge that more light is not what we need. What we need is light in the right place. What we need is light not to be the wrong hue, color, whatever we want to call it. We don't need this super bright stuff that blinds everybody. We need to calm it down. Can anybody see my globular cluster when I'm like this? Oh, I'm standing in front.
Hold that still.
Come on, Frank. So anyway, this is where we got to get to, guys. And this is what's so frustrating, if you guys don't think about it, is this is easy. This is where you want it. This is where you want the energy to go. This doesn't do anything. If the birds' bellies don't mean anything to us. Okay, Mike, I've rared enough. If you'll turn the lights back on. And by the way, that is Harry Potter at the bottom. Ah. Okay. You hear me rant and rave? Go ahead and jack them up, the things on the side, not those. Glare, glare, glare. Okay, what can we do about this, guys? Okay, What can we do? So we'll go through a few really quick. We'll do some engineering solutions. We'll do what you can do to share people and get the knowledge out there. Okay. So one of the coolest things is to just go through the engineering of it. Okay. You don't even have to be an engineer. Just go through the engineering of it. Is it necessary? Are you shining light straight up in the air just because the side of your house is cute? Really? I mean, I see this a lot in some of the new ones. Okay. Is it for aesthetic reasons and you don't need it? We need to do it for safety. Okay. When's it needed? Think about clutter. Okay. Timers, proximity sensors. Okay. We don't need it. If you don't need it, why do you need to light up a parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning? Don't know. There's nobody there. Okay. Okay. Is it brightness correct? Are you putting 1,000,000 watts where you need none or 500? Okay. Tone it down, keep it below 500 lumens if possible. Turn it directionally, just like you saw with my silly demonstration. Horizontal light travels furthest. We all know this. Okay. Is it the color temperature you need? Let's not make it blue. Where's my, okay, I had clicked it. I have not.
I know what they are actually.
Okay. So
Just if you want another one, probably could get one.
let's, yeah. So keep it below 3K if you can. So international dark sky, recommending below 3K. What are we talking about? Worse, bad, good, better. I thought this was a great slide. Shows you what the stars you can see up at the top.
Why is it darker?
Below should be. Uh-oh. He has found a flaw. Whoops. Sorry, too many clicky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is wrong. Excuse me. Thank you for, I don't have anything to write with, but I'll fix it.
All your regular street lights are 4,000K.
Ugh. Bad and good. I thought this was a great example. Same dude. Same dude. Okay. Dark sky, friendly lighting. Point it where it's needed. Don't let it go up in the sky. Reflectors. Yep. We don't need to see bird bellies.
That one that's in that first video was like that one on the right that you just showed with the ray in the top of the picture.
Yeah. Okay. Your neighbor may not even know. You said you did. One of the things that I did in the presentation was when I went into this, I was like, how am I ever going to talk for this amount of time over something like this, especially to people who already know? The problem I ran into was trimming it down far enough to get it into a presentation, because I had 4 slides at one time talking about what to do about your neighbor. Okay. Your neighbor can be a pain, be persistent. Okay. So share your information with others. Some of the stuff, Anna gave me this a long time ago. This is a tactile version of how to show people what light pollution is. It like shows Orion in dark skies. You got people who can't see very well, but tactile works. Can you guys see me? Okay. No, that's okay. They get the idea. But Orion is sitting here and you can see most of it. If you turn the page, this is kind of moderate skies. And you notice he just lost some of his arms and stuff. Right? So that's a tactile way. The other thing I heard about, I have to close it, sorry. It's a children's book and it explains everything I've talked about tonight to children. And it's great. It's about a little girl who can't see the stars and her granddad tells her about how you used to could see thousands of stars, and she's sitting up there going, Granddad, I count 35, and how they went to the mayor and how they went and all the legislation and all the stuff. And it's really, really cool. And she's from Chapel Hill that wrote it, which, you know, we won't hold it against her, but there it is. Share your knowledge with others, but do it where you're not saying, turn off your light, moron. Okay. Okay. So there are programs to work with this. The best one is obviously Dark Sky. They've recently changed their little logo. And that's the best one I've found so far. They're really, really good. They've got lots and lots of information. I mean, it just keeps going on their website. You can go out of the country a little bit. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the next slide. Globe at Night is another one that you can actually work with to gather the data. Once again, Christopher Kaiba, I guess that's how you say his name. But anyway, he's done a lot of work here with light pollution and dealing with how to count it and how to figure it out. So I think somebody needs to call City Hall in Raleigh. I had the best time ever with this. So I went and looked this up. What do we do? What are our lighting plans for the Raleigh area? So this is written right in there if you look it up. Here's the link I'll be talking about in a minute, but they have this in their paperwork. You go look it up. Oh, sorry. Speaking of light pollution, I mean, you see stuff. How exactly is mitigate potential noise and light pollution in parts from new development on adjoining residential properties? Hello, manager speak. Okay. We've got something documented we're going to do about it, but what does that mean? You know, as an engineer, I'm telling you, you just said nothing. Okay. Now, the next thing was, I wanted to learn more. So I went back to the link. And this is when my wife actually heard me laugh out loud. Because I got a 404 page. And the best part was, I got a sewer release form at the top. I just thought it was hilarious. Okay, guys, coming around the bend here. There's hope. And the reason I put this slide in here was because I started actually getting bummed out, because I'm like, this feels like you're attacking Mount Everest with a shovel single-handedly. However, cool thing is, if you go over to the UK, woo-hoo, they improved at 2022, and the count found they were actually getting their best views since 2011. Why? Sadly, is because, well, that's just saying it's continuing to fall since the 2020 peak, which we know why. Solar energy bills, we suspect, and the lockdown leftover from the lockdown legacy. Okay. Before I hit the next one, how many astronomers? You didn't think you were going to get away with it, did you? How many astronomers is it? Wait a minute. What's my joke? Oh, crap. How many astronomers does it take to deal with light pollution? How many astronomers does it take to change a light bulb? I should know this. What? Why? No, there's one. 1 to 2. 1 to change the bulb, and 1 to complain about light pollution. Okay, I rushed as hard as I could go, guys. Anybody have any questions? Sure. I will. Hold on.
I mean, I've had a hard time. Where do you find products that are just shields that I could put on the existing lighting I have in my house? I've got some spots, you know, before I go chat with my neighbor, I thought maybe I should do diligence and fix my house, but I don't know where to find the shields. And I really don't want to spend time, you know, replacing all the fixtures. But most of the lighting is horizontal, but my high spots are, you know, they go all over the place. If I could just get a shield to put over the high spots. That'd be great. But, you know, Home Depot doesn't carry stuff that I can see. Lowe's. I've looked around. It would be nice to know a catalog I could go to that would have these kind of products that I could bolt onto my house.
I don't have an answer for that. I would go to the Dark Sky site, and I could bring it up, but they have a lot of information about the lighting and what is for sale and what's out there and what they approve of. They actually have a seal that they've come up with to stamp on the lights that they approve of. I don't have an answer for you. Sorry. I don't have a catalog.
You may have
Well,
time and
so-
make something yourself.
One thing I think you can do is basically keep them off the spots. I mean, only, you know, and adjust if you've got motion sensors, adjust it. So
Correct.
it's really, it's not every, you know, leaf that falls, you know, will set it off.
All right, we have a question from Tony online. He says, do light pollution filters really help with sky viewing in the RDU area? In other words, is it worth the cost for my telescopes?
I'm going to refer to one of the main people. There's two people in the room that I would refer to please help me answer this, Chris or Naveen. Do you know I don't know. I don't do the astrophotography part.
Well, so you can get filters for visual as well. But for photography, I think the city light pollution filters, CLP, are not as useful, probably because the LEDs are broad spectrum. So you're not really blocking
Correct.
any specific wavelengths. It used to work with, I don't know the type of light, but sodium. So sodium from streetlights was, you know, it's a much narrower bandwidth, and those filters were designed to block that. So if it's photography, your best bet's like narrowband imaging, or even some of the wider filters. There's some for I've got a clip-in filter for a DSLR, the L Enhance, and it's been really fun. Definitely helps when the moon is out. For visual, I'll have to defer to somebody else. I don't know.
I don't know that one. Jim Presley.
Okay, well, some of us who do visual find that the O3 filter and the UHC are useful, particularly out at some of our sites, not so much in town. And even the skylight filters, which I used to think didn't help, are useful out at Howell Woods or someplace where you just need to suppress the background a little bit so you can pick out faint things. But yeah, we've lost a lot of ground since they've gone with the full spectrum lighting, because before you could just chop out the parts that we didn't need and see things almost like you were at a dark site. So I still would recommend probably UHC for most people, or an O3 is a little more narrow, so that helps in some areas a little bit more. But if you just bought one, probably UHC.
Thank you, Jim. Any more questions online? Any questions from the room? Pardon.
I was curious, are there any statistics or anything for people who think more lighting is always better, that keeps the burglars out of their car and so forth?
So if you type if you type YouTube light pollution safety, you will be inundated. I'm serious when I tell you guys, the hardest part I had trying to come up with anything was pulling this down to something manageable to go through. And I've really tried to go through it fast. And that's a great one. Martin, I ran into from anybody from Neil deGrasse Tyson to the Dark Ranger to everybody, they're all talking about it. There's lots of what I was not able to find that I was a little bit bummed about was Dr. Amy with Moorhead Planetarium, I think has a town in the UK where once they masked or put reflectors up for the lighting, they actually had a recordable incident of crime go down, and the amount of people hit by cars go down. but I need to talk to her again to find out, because I don't think it was Leicester, but I can't remember where it was. And I did look, I couldn't find it online. But the UK has done a lot recently to try and help with this.
If I can recommend, check out the police department for the city of Santa Barbara. They did a long-term study on that
Cool.
many years ago, and actually, showed an inverse relationship between lighting and crime reduction. So
And it is about
lighting
getting,
increases crime.
yep. And it really is about educating as much as possible. Because I mean, would you guys involve it? So, anything else, guys, before I hand it back over to Anna? Sorry.
Okay, so we get a round of applause for Dana.